So how do you make more money in e-commerce?
SMS. So SMS is text messaging. So, the text that we all send to each other will nowadays, and a lot of people listening to this may be familiar that brands are starting to use text messaging to communicate with their biggest fans. So, brands, you'll sign up for a text list with a brand, and they'll text you about sales and different marketing. And hopefully, if they're smart, then when they're reaching out, they're bringing value and giving you some kind of offer that you're interested in.
Sorry. I was just going to say, we notice that an email that has the text message also is worth about 5 times more than the email alone. So the value when you get the text message and the email in order to communicate with them is like exponentially better.
And the open rates. I mean, open rates for texts are through the roof, and so compared to email. So, if someone is willing to let you into their pocket, and on a text list, then you really should be bringing some value. And that's what we really like to do is we're not going to reach out to our customers if, we're not really bringing a good deal, whether it's a flash sale. And we even give our text club more of a percentage off than our email list because they're letting us in their pocket. So, it's very personal. So we feel like if someone's going to let us do that, we need to give them a little bit sweeter of a deal. And so they get about 10% off usually for flash sales. They'll get 30% off, whereas the email will get 20% off. So anybody listening that's a customer, sign up for that text list.
Yeah.
And I do have to say thank you for that. Because I'm one of those people that's I'm always so reluctant ever to give personal information on some of those things because I think a lot of people abuse the email marketing thing because I have some, I get like 3 a day every day. And so I eventually, after about a week, I just unsubscribe from all of them. I think there's a massive value in what you just said is like if you're doing the email marketing or specifically the SMS, that SMS is like your best friends. Like in a business, that's your best friends. I'm not going to bug them all the time, but I want to hit them up with something that's valuable when it's time. Which segues into the fact I'm still waiting for that link for the buffalo leather. Is it the American buffalo one or whatever? The one Garcia was wearing, and I'm just waiting for that text message to come. Like bison,
the bison. So that would
I'm
be
still waiting
for
for
our premier collection. Yep,
but it's only going to come via text message, right?
I mean, we'll introduce that to our text club. Because they're limited quantities.
See,
so we'll kind of open it up to them.
Explain the text club just so that people have an idea how they segment.
Well, and so the text, we call it the Anson Text Club, just, kind of as to give it a name, for the people that, that subscribe to our messaging. And to make them, feel special because, we're giving them a special deal. We give them a little bit better of a deal. So we want them to kind of feel like a special group. So we just kind of call it, to join the Anson Text Club.
Yeah.
So, I kind of think about that group as a different kind of segment than our emails, just because to me it is so personal. You're letting me get into your pocket, and
how did you come up with that name?
I mean, that's
is that Matt saying, "Hey guys, I need a little bit of recognition over here"?
Anson Text Club.
Anson Text Club is pretty. It's pretty in depth.
Original.
Yeah. It's very original.
Yeah. So it works, and I think it accurately described what we were trying to build with the community.
I've bought off of it.
I say that in joking because we say all the time Homer Simpson it. And so they know exactly what they're signing up for. Hey, I'm going to get text messages.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not a secret. And that's awesome.
The text club, they know exactly what they're getting into.
I'm just giving you a hard time for fun.
No. So, I think I had heard, heard it somewhere as far, it's like, okay, this can work.
David only hits you though when he does have a deal. I know he talked about that before. I've been on the text club for a hot minute. I truthfully, so this is the thing about David, and his marketing is so great and is so good, and he's got all of the pillars set up. So if you touch the website, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. So I'm always even scared to go to the website because I don't want to make him spend money. Like I don't want him to spend. I'm going to buy the belt anyways. Yeah. And a true story, I don't want to go to the website because I don't want the ads to be targeted on me again. So he's just wasting money on me because I'm the customer, right? And so when I signed up for the belt thing via text message, I'm one of those that's very reluctant to do that, but I did it anyways, and ghosted. Like I'm not a girlfriend ghosted, but you get
to a fault. Like we all should be.
But when it comes in, you're like,
more.
Yeah, I totally bought the last one that launched out. I was like, it came in. I was like, that's a good deal. That's a good belt, and I hit it up. And so again, I'm waiting for the buffalo belt thing. It'll happen eventually. Bison. I keep calling it buffalo. The bison.
Same
Both start with
I
a
got
B.
a text message from him today. He's got a special going.
Did you get the bison one?
No. we
different club.
unsubscribed you from the list
I'm on the
so that there would be some left over.
I'm on the wrong text club. Is this, wait, yours is the Anson Bell? Maybe I'm on the And Son.
Yeah.
It's a different company.
Yeah.
Anyways, but no, good. What can people expect in e-commerce is scaling that business for SMS? What does that cost? Like, and what can they expect to pay for things like that?
Yeah, so I mean, you're going to pay for some kind of base fees to get in with a service that does it. There's a handful out there. We use Attentive. We're big on them. They've been a great partner. There's some other options, but they do it really well. And a lot of email, Klaviyo and all of those are starting to add text messaging. So, there's some debate of, whether that should be the same company or separate.
Yeah.
But, that's a whole nother show. But, so you're going to have some base fees anywhere, 500, to 500 and then, 200 or so for, their other kind of their base fees, so we're paying 700 or so for kind of that base fee, and then your messaging is going to be anywhere from 1 cent for non-text images, and then about 2.5 cents for image-based text. So.
Does that give you unlimited groups of breakdowns of segregation?
Segments.
Yeah,
Segments?
so you could definitely segment that into different lists. We tend to kind of fire it off to to all of them, but you definitely could segment that. For sure.
What are some creative ways that you use to get people to sign up?
Yeah, so we ask them, we have a pop up on our website, and give them incentive with kind of what we're going to offer. So hey, look, we're going to give you 20% off if you sign up for our email list, but we're going to give you 30% off if you sign up for our text club. So make that deal a little bit sweeter, because like I said, they're letting you into their pocket. That's very personal. And to do that, you really need to drive value. And so, we give a little bit sweeter of a deal to those that, sign up.
Is SMS something that people have to, like, is there any legality within it? Do they have to subscribe to it? Some of those waivers and stuff for people there. I feel like email is one of those things that's simple, but SMS is different.
A double opt-in, and you need to be very careful, that you are making sure that they're very aware of what they're opting into. And that's why we use Attentive as one of the reasons, because they are
very good about that.
Very compliant. And so it's a double opt-in process. They'll have to sign up for it, and then they have to actually say yes. You're signing up to receive messages and all that stuff. So it that definitely is important.
Any systems that you don't have to mention names, but any SMS that you've used in the past has just been not what you hoped it for, and if that was the case, what were those things people should be leery of, without saying name of brands? But these are the types that don't work because.
We used one prior, and honestly, I can't even remember the name. And I wouldn't mention them anyways. So we did use them, but the compliance wasn't as ironclad as Attentive, and that's one thing that I really liked about Attentive. So, that's the thing is be leery of that opt-in process.
And in the compliance world, if you're not in compliant, what could that lead to for you as a company? What were some of those?
I mean, you always have those kind of chasers, not ambulance chasers, but
get sued.
Yeah, exactly.
It could turn to a big problem.
Yeah, so you always want to make sure you're dotting your I's and crossing your T's there.
Cool. Matt was talking about some cool ideas, just thinking outside the box to get people to sign up. So we know they need to opt in. We know there's kind of double verification on that. He had a cool idea that I'm going to let him explain. He was just before we started this thing was brainstorming with David. It's like, David, you've got to try this and do this for some of this stuff. And
essentially send out a raffle ticket with each order, and then let them know that once a week you're going to basically
choose a winner
and give them some free product.
So like they're already entered. Hey, by the way, with your order, you're entered into this raffle. And I had, just as we were talking, it could be your order number.
Or in order to win, you need to be on the list.
Oh yeah. Well, they would have to sign up, in order to, to be eligible. I guess you're already in as long as you sign up.
Yeah.
Here,
sign up, and then we'll notify a new winner every week
via text.
Anytime you can put gamification into a product or sell or any of your services, it seems like nowadays it's a huge win.
Yeah, well, what I was talking about with them is if you think about what the value of each one of those SMS subscribers is worth, you're going to do everything you can to get more people on that list. The ones that don't want to hear from you, they'll unsubscribe. You want them to unsubscribe. You just want your rabid fans that
because then you
wanna
won't be
hear
spending
from
money
you.
when you send them a text.
Right.
Yeah,
You
waste.
want you
It costs
just
us cheaper.
Exactly.
yeah, and that was I mean, but not everybody realizes that. Even a long time ago, when you didn't email them, like you were
Yeah.
paying to hold that email list every single month, and we weren't emailing them because we were afraid that they'll unsubscribe. But if they unsubscribe,
Then-
like that's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they didn't want to hear from you
Yeah.
anyways, and I
Yeah.
was really, really reluctant to do SMS, just as you
Yeah.
know, I
Yeah.
really held back on email for many, many years. But but it also the times changed with us, and as other brands kind of warmed consumers up to having that, then I said, okay, once I signed up for a few myself. And I'm like, okay, this is how this works, and it's not so bad. Then I got used to it, and I'm glad I did, because we were leaving a ton of money on the table,
Yeah.
a ton. So,
A ton.
When do you on your SMS? When do you decide to use that tool? Do you have it kind of a planned out? Do you do it based around your sales? Do you have it automated? Triggers like what are some of the ways that you use it?
So I mean, it's a mix of both. Some is automated, so you have your triggers for your abandoned cart,
Yep.
that kind of thing. So if they go through the process, they sign up for the email list, or if they're already on your text club or email list, and then they abandon, then you trigger those. So abandoned cart is part of the triggered, and then campaigns, whether it's flash sales or factory second sales like we had go out today. Then those are kind of campaigns that we plan around.
I think that's it. I think you just stop it just like that, man.
Yeah.
It's killer.
Yeah.
Awesome.
The only reason you wouldn't do SMS marketing is if you don't like money.
Yeah. And I think you maybe even said this to me one day.
I
Don't
said,
do it.
You need to be doing it. I
unless,
said,
yeah.
don't do it unless you hate money.
Yeah.
It really is kind of, you start thinking about all the processes you have in place to drive sales, traffic, contact with your customer to make a true e-commerce site work. From the optimization
work
of the
at scale.
site to
Yeah.
work at scale and right and proper. Like it's like a massive Walmart. I mean, if you think about like all the things that in a brick and mortar sense of like it takes to make Walmart work, from the people to the people mopping the floors, everything else, to where it feels like it's a well-oiled machine. Like a true big e-commerce site is probably more work. Just all those things will be working
So many
efficiently.
cogs.
So many cogs.
Yeah, but like when you hear him say, he's like, yeah, we have 7 people plus strategic partners. Well, we have
There's a
5
lot.
or 6 people in our team that are
Yeah.
on his site.
Mhm.
And
Oh,
you
yeah.
get the same with the advertising.
Yeah.
The same with,
And so there's a probably a
distribution and fulfillment.
30, 40 man team.
Yeah, 100%.
behind just
It's a
the
massive pyramid.
the 4 or 5 full time.
Yeah. Because we have 2 developers, a Google Analytics, bug checker, and the RO. So he's got 5 people.
Yeah. And that's why it's amazing to have strategic partners like
Yeah.
Matt and his team. I could not do what we do without him and his team. I mean,
It's impossible.
We could do it, but it'd be sloppy, and there'd be lots of mess.
Lots of money
and-
left on the table.
Yeah, and lots of money left on the table, and absolutely.
Yeah. It's and having a team like that ready to help with scale and sales and volume, traffic on sites and things like that. Apple is one of those companies that I follow and do a lot. And I'll have to say, I've been disappointed every year they launched an iPhone, because on launch day, the app always crashes and the Apple Store always crashes. And it's like, how can you not know by now, like that volume, unless that's part of their strategy?
And it may
like,
be.
and it may be part of their strategy. They get the orders and they shut it down, right? But every year, so this year, same thing. Like I was lucky to get on there, boom, done. And then my wife, it's like same thing, just wouldn't work anymore for another hour.
Wow.
So it's been like that every year, and I find that just quite aggravating. They're in a sense that everyone's going to buy the product regardless, right? I mean, like you're kind of at the beck and call of them.
They'll find it. Yeah.
But I think it's important, especially to deliver on like the promise of functionality. And in their case of a launch date and a time, it's just you expect in the digital world, like if the launch was at 8 a.m., which it was, that it should be 8 a.m. And you're like, 8 a.m. is still not working. And then you're like, my phone broke? Is the app not working? And like this other
I
stuff.
sat here and waited for this.
For what? And then it doesn't work. I mean, it pisses people off, and then they still buy it because they're in a different league of their own. But I think on a smaller sense, like with smaller brands and people, I think it's important to do it properly to where you don't have those foo bars if you don't have to, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, like Christmas and run out of belts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
we don't do
that was, I mean, I would rather you have a problem like that.
Yeah.
Meaning that
different.
your customers had such a demand that you couldn't supply it.
And like
That's an okay.
Yeah.
rather
that's
than we need
correct.
customers.
Yeah.
We've got
Correct.
too much on our
Yeah,
hands.
And then,
we have all this
and like
info,
we
no
said,
website.
it wasn't that big of a slap. But in the last, and we already talked about in a previous episode, like what they did in a cool way to like overcome those things, which is what makes it all the difference in the end when things mess up. Apple's never going to send me a message, hey, sorry, the app didn't work.
Right.
Thanks for your $1,500 for the iPhone is what they're going. You don't get that. So, anyways, cool. SMS, why is important? Like Matt says, if you don't like money, don't do it. If you want money, do it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It's the number one largest revenue driver of any site that we manage or even are on.
Awesome.
Yeah, I guess, and well, to touch on return on investment.
Yeah,
So,
that too.
Okay, so revenue driver would probably be email.
Yeah.
As far as bulk, but return on, although email is pretty hot too. But I would say there's more brands leaving money on the table because of not doing SMS than any other piece of marketing out there.
There's not anything else you'll do that have a higher ROAS.
Yeah.
Why do you think they're not doing it? They just don't understand it, nervous about it, or don't want to pay for it? Do they feel like,
I think
500?
all of those.
Yeah, and there's a lot to do. If it's relying on you to do everything in your brand, there's no way you're
just
gonna be
too
able to do
much.
all of it.
Yeah.
It's e-commerce. Back in the drop shipping days, you could get away with doing it all yourself, and now as it's matured and grown up over the last 8-10 years, to be competitive, like you pretty much need a small team, and you have to work hard. Like it's
a job.
Yeah.
Yeah, the point is,
It's a job.
it takes work.
It is a job.
But I think a lot of people, I think e-commerce is just something that makes money while I sleep. You hear that all the time. It makes money while I sleep.
Yeah, that's when you truly.
Yeah, but you're working all the time so that
You're working while you sleep
while
as well.
you
I don't know if I
sleep,
tell you
yeah.
that, but you're still working.
yeah.